A little slow.
Hi, this is State Representative Rob Martwick, and this is my third Facebook Live update of the day. It's been a busy day and a good day here in the General Assembly. So as I told you earlier today, I passed a bill 18-1 out of the Elementary and Secondary Education Committee, which provided for an elected representative school board for the Chicago Public Schools. That's the K through 12 schools in Chicago. But I wasn't done. I believe that there should be elected representation in any form of government, right? Isn't that one of the principles of our democracy? No taxation without representation. Well, guess what? We're not only the only school district, K through 12, in the state of Illinois that has an appointed school board, but we're also the only community college district in the state that has an appointed community college board. And so this afternoon, just got done at 4 o'clock, I was in the Higher Education Committee where I presented a bill, House Bill 1776, as if that number isn't just perfect. House Bill 1776 provides for an elected Board of Education for the city college system. And this would allow our community colleges, again, to have that same opportunity, our citizens to have the same opportunity to elect the people who govern our city colleges as every other citizen of the state of Illinois. And so very proud about that bill. The one for CPS passed 18-1 out of the Elementary and Secondary Education Committee. The bill for city colleges passed unanimously. Democrats and Republicans agree that the best solution for problems in a democracy is not less democracy, it's more democracy. And so with me I have Tony Johnston, who is the president of the Cook County College Teachers Union, and they've been pushing for this bill. So Tony, tell the viewers today what you thought about what went on in the Higher Education Committee.
Well, it was a great day, like Rob said. Rob's done a great job of getting co-sponsors. I've been working the halls as well, and it really showed today. We had a 19-0 unanimous vote for our bill. It takes it out of the committee and hopefully to the floor soon for a vote. And like Rob said, this is something that has been needed for a long time. We're the only community college district that does not have an elected school board. And this will give a voice to our communities in Chicago. It will give a voice to our students as well. And so we're very happy, and it's been a great day.
Well, I think it's been a great day too, Tony. You know, one of the things that I get often is that people think that my motive is somehow to attack Mayor Emanuel. And I tell people all the time that there's no truth in that whatsoever. I in fact usually tell people when they think that I really believe that Mayor Emanuel has a great passion for education. That being said, that has nothing to do with what this bill is about. I think that principle of no taxation without representation, if you live in the city of Chicago, I mean if you live anywhere in the state of Illinois, the vast majority of your hard-earned money that you give to the government is spent on education. It's spent money that goes to K through 12 education, both in your income taxes and your property taxes. There's money in both your income and your property taxes that go to the community college system, to our university system. So there's so much of your tax dollars, the vast majority of every dollar you pay to the government gets spent on education. And to think that the city, the residents of the city of Chicago, the students, the taxpayers of the city of Chicago shouldn't have the opportunity to weigh in on elections just makes no sense to me. And I truly believe that having that democracy and that dialogue and that accountability will make our school systems better. I believe it to my core, which is why I've been working on these issues for 2 years.
Yeah, I agree completely, and I've actually addressed our board basically about this bill, saying this is not against you as individual board members or even as a board. It is about democracy, and I invited them, if and when this bill becomes law, for them to run if they so choose, because that shows their commitment to public education in Chicago. And so you're right, this is not going against Mayor Emanuel per se. This is for a voice for Chicagoans.
Yeah, and I often tell people, look, I can't guarantee that performance will be better. I can't guarantee that finances will be better, issues that we have to deal with. But what I guarantee is that you will have a say in that process. You have the opportunity to elect someone to make decisions, and if you don't like the decisions they make, then you can vote them out of office and replace them with someone else. That's the way government's supposed to work in a democracy. And, you know, one of the problems that we had on the CPS level, one of the things that I always use as a shining example was the Barbara Burt Bennett scandal, right? And that's, and what I tell people all the time is, look, before you even talk about that, an elected form of government does not eliminate corruption. God knows we've had many elected officials go to jail on corruption scandals, right? But when that Barbara Burt Bennett contract was proposed before the Chicago Public School Board, she was proposing a $20 million no-bid contract to her former employer. And yet this appointed board, which is really, by all accounts, and I think the same probably holds true of the board that governs the city colleges, these are blue ribbon panel people, right? These are not people that just he randomly picked. They have experience, they have great resumes, you'd be very impressed by them as individuals. And yet a no-bid contract to a former employer received no discussion, no debate, and no dissent, not one no vote on a no-bid $20 million contract to a former employer of the superintendent that eventually is going to land her in jail, right? And again, can those things happen in an elected situation? Yes. The difference is that now we have recourse, and I think that's what this sort of thing does. The community college is different. You know, the mayor appointed a chancellor who decided she was going to completely change the mission of community colleges in Chicago, and a lot of people were very disappointed by that. As you mentioned in committee today, we have a change in chancellors. Maybe some of those issues will be addressed, but whatever it is going forward, people should have a way of having their voices heard, and if they're not heard, then going to the ballot box and exercising that right of removing that person and replacing somebody else.
Yeah, it's really about having our communities have a voice. As you mentioned, there have been massive changes in the city colleges, consolidating programs in one location that would cause many of our students to travel long distances. We have fought against that, and it looks like we may have changes. We don't know yet, right. But what you say is very correct. They may go ahead and go full force with reinvention with the new chancellor, and we'll still have no recourse unless we get an elected school board.
Right. And so, like I said, I'll go back to what I said from the beginning. When you have a problem in government, the solution is not to remove democracy. The solution is to improve the democracy that you have, and I think that's what this does. I'm a big believer in this. I really believe in democratic government. I believe that as much as it's inefficient and sometimes very challenging, ultimately, if you have a true system of democratic elected government, we will ultimately, despite the arguments and the fights, you see what's going on now, we will eventually get to the right place. It's happened throughout the history of our country, and I think it's a great thing that we try to bring this for the city of Chicago. We know that the residents of the city of Chicago want it, and hopefully with a little bit more hard work we'll make it happen. So thanks, Tony. Thanks for coming down and advocating. This is kind of like what I talked about earlier. You come down, you've got an issue. Tony called me up and said, Rob, we saw you working on this elected school board for CPS. They said, how about the city colleges? Can't we have an elected school board too? And that began this path. We started working together, and we had a great result today. We look forward to passage on the floor, and then hopefully send the bill over to the Senate for consideration there as well. Yep. So thanks for watching, everybody. Again, reach out if you have questions, concerns, comments. Happy to address them. You can also reach out to the Cook County College Teachers Union, and we'll be happy to have you join our push for elected democratic government for the city of Chicago. Thanks for watching.